Good evening, everybody. This is Penny Webb from Working Mums Masterclass. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate your time. I know how valuable it is. We have a really good next 45 to 60 minutes for you talking about wardrobes and how to make them work for you. Seeing if you're working, then why shouldn't your wardrobe work for you as well? And Nikki Parkinson from Styling You is going to be talking to us all about giving us some really practical tips, tools and ways that we can actually make the most of our wardrobe and make it suitable for busy mums pretty much. So first of all, I'd just like to go through some housekeeping. This webinar session is being recorded, so by law I have to disclose that to you, and we will be posting it on our website. It's normally posted within 7 days, so we'll let you know when that's up. So if you miss anything, you can certainly go back to it at a later date. The thing to remember as well with the webinar is that Nikki and I can't hear you, but you can hear us. But the way you can communicate with us is using the question box or the chat box down on the bottom right-hand side of your control panel. And you can ask any questions at any time, and I'll keep an eye out for those too. If you have any technical problems, call 1-800-356-792. If you have a pen and paper handy, it's probably a good idea to just write that down now. That's the technical line for Citrix. Citrix is the software company that we use for the webinar and create the platform for us to do it. But some tips that we have discovered after doing the webinars a couple of times is that if your internet connection is dropping in and out and you can't hear Nikki or myself all that well, use the landline number that was on your confirmation email, and that basically dials in as an audio conference, and you can still see what's happening on screen, but you can hear Nikki and I talking through or Nikki presenting via that landline too. So as I mentioned, we've got the chat box on the bottom right hand side, or the question box as well. So what we'll do is actually we'll do a test to start with to make sure that first of all you can hear us. So I'll just ask the question if anybody can hear us. Jane's arrow is moving, which is very good. So if you just type yes or no, well, you shouldn't be able to type no because you probably didn't even hear me ask that question. So we've got a couple of people coming through saying, yes, we can hear you. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. So there's a chat box further down on the bottom right-hand side of your panel as well, control panel. So you should be able to see that. Otherwise, you can also put comments in the question area too. And remember to enjoy yourself. Sit back. I hope you've got a wine or a cup of tea and you're relaxing. And if you are tweeting while we're talking, the tweet hashtag is WMM webinar. So feel free to tweet away. All right. Well, I'll just forward on to telling you a little bit more about Nikki. I actually don't have a bio written down for Nikki, a fancy bio or anything like that, because I feel as though after following her blog for about 18 months or so, since discovering Blog World, that I know her quite well, and we've become involved. Not like that, but involved in a business relationship, and also I feel as a friend as well. So basically I met Nikki through Mrs. Woog. Through blogging, and attended a blogging conference that she went to. Nikki's also spoken at 2 of our mumpreneur events, one in Queensland and one in Sydney last year, when she was fantastic. And she's obviously a stylist and a very well-known blogger, or Uber blogger as I described it. And the thing that I like the most about Nikki is obviously she's an expert in her area. She knows her stuff, but I love how she's a big advocate for collaboration and sharing. Pardon me, in the small business world, in the blogging world, and also in the, just being a woman world. So I really connected with Nikki over that value that she had too. So she's going to spend the next 45-50 minutes or so giving you guys some tips on your wardrobe, how you can get it working for you. So Nikki, I'll pass over to you, and when you're ready, let me know when you want to go through to your first slide.
Okay, welcome everybody. I just wanted to say at the outset that yes, I will be having a lovely chat to my computer screen. I've banished my family to another room because I literally do blog in the centre of our small lounge room. But if you have a question that's specific to what I might be talking about at that time, pipe up and type it up, and Penny will interrupt me in the nicest possible way. I'd rather talk about it in that section just so that it's more helpful to everybody, so feel free to drop in. That's perfectly okay. We can go on to the first slide, Pen. Okay, so I thought it might be worthwhile for you to kind of get a bit of a picture about where I come from, where I come from, where I've been, and where I'm going in regards to my working wardrobe. I've probably had every variation of a working wardrobe in my almost, oh God, I don't want to add up the years, 20, 25 years of working or something silly like that. And now I find it quite ironic that I'm sitting here in pretty daggy house dress that Pen and I have talked about our love of the house dress. I've had a day in front of the computer and dropping kids off at school and picking them up from buses this afternoon and taking a teenage son to work. And yeah, I'm doing something quite big with my business, and yet I can have a lot of days where I don't have to put that public face on, if you get my drift. So over the years, yes, I've had a number of different roles. I was formerly a journalist, and I worked in obviously in an office situation in quite a different, on the Sunshine Coast it's quite a casual, yeah, pretty casual. There aren't a lot of high corporate offices, but I would probably I would still dress a bit more corporate than some of my peers, just because I felt that if I was going out to interview someone, that would put me in a more professional standing. So I sort of had a completely officey kind of wardrobe. When I started my business 3.5, almost 4 years ago, I kind of still had this corporate wardrobe, didn't really know what to do with it. Yes, there's a couple of things that were great for going to meetings or networking events, but when the majority of my time was sitting in front of a computer, I felt like a bit of a prat sitting here in a pencil skirt and stilettos. So it it kind of has been a work in progress for me, and it's actually been a great thing for me to realise just that is a very big thing that increasingly a lot of women in Australia also are working on. I guess the other part of my wardrobe story is the 3 kids, and I think there'd be women on the call who you'd have the maternity wear, you'd be at work. I was at work up to the last minute for all of them, just because it was air conditioned and I could sit down. And the hospital is actually closer to my work than it was. All the stupid justifications that I had in my head. And then I went back to work at various times after the 3 kids, depending on what my situation was at the time. So I still remember, though, that it was like this huge struggle to remember what you used to wear before you were pregnant to work. And then you kind of had changed, and you weren't the same person you were before you went on maternity leave. And I know that's a bit cliched, and of course you've given birth and things have changed, but I find, and I found this with clients that I work with as well, that something shifts, and they're not just all about, especially with that first baby, they're not just all about work anymore. You kind of want to show that and change that with your wardrobe. So this is where I've kind of developed this idea of the multiple personality wardrobe, which I think my husband thinks is a kind of excuse to have a lot of clothes, but I don't know where he's coming from on that one, sorry. I just, here is my justification, and it really is about, I know, apart from if you worked in an office where you had a uniform, or you worked in a quite high corporate office where there was a very set way of dressing, most women working these days have quite a few hats that they have to wear, and I'm using the pun of hats purposely because it might be different shoes or bags or whatever, because we kind of have to meet the expectations not only of ourselves and what our role is in our job or our business, but also the expectation of the people that we might be talking to in our role, in our job or business. So for most of us, increasingly that's not the same thing every day, or it's not the same thing within parts of the day. And then you're throwing in everything to do with your mum. You're also probably juggling drop-offs, pickups, after-school activities, any number of things that kind of mean that you don't want to get caught wearing something that's uncomfortable or completely out of place, or doing the run up to the classroom in those high heels because you've got to put the flats in the car, that sort of thing. So it's kind of a big ongoing process, and I don't know if it'll ever stop unless I decided to go and retire on an island and drink cocktails all day. So that's kind of a bit about where I'm at. So Pen, if you want to flick through to the next slide for me.
Yep, you might get a little time lag on it coming up.
What I thought, because I don't know who you are, you wonderful people on this call, I am suspecting that we've got a number of people who might be working in an office situation, and or as part of their home business or small business situation, they have to present a corporate image at some stage. And then we would have some people who are work-at-home mums, who might primarily do most of the work at home but need outfits to go to meetings or networking events, that sort of thing. So I thought if that works for you guys, that we'll tackle the to sort of both sectors. And so do pipe up if you've got a key question for any of those areas. So for corporate wardrobe, it actually used to be super easy. I'm thinking back in the 90s where you could just walk into a store and just buy your completely matched suit. You know, you'd have a grey, a black, and probably another lighter coloured one and a couple of tops. You'd have a mixture of pants and skirts, and you'd be done with it. But as overall workplaces have become a bit more casual, I've seen that it actually has become trickier to kind of get the right combination of a corporate style outfit that still looks professional but isn't kind of making you look like you work in, say, a bank where everyone's required to dress the same. There is definitely a shift towards it. I think this is a good thing, that it does make it tricky for getting out the door each morning and feeling good, that there's a trend towards your personality coming through in what you wear. So I still think with a corporate wardrobe that you need to have that capsule wardrobe to start with. Like, you need those basics to be able to add your personality to that wardrobe. So I've listed the basics there that you can see, you know, it's pretty straightforward. The tailored pants, the tailored skirt, the tops, tailored dress, jacket and shoes. What I'm saying is that it's very rare these days in a style or fashion sense to see that suit pieced together with the same things. I actually like to deconstruct a suit whenever I work in someone's wardrobe. They might have a black suit and like a stone coloured suit. I like to deconstruct it so they're wearing the black jacket with the stone pants or the stone jacket with the black skirt, just to still keep that structure but add a bit of interest with the suit, rather than pulling it all together like a 90s power suit without the 80s padded shoulders. And I also like the trend, I don't know about you, but I had a gazillion shirts, three-quarter sleeve shirts, striped, plain colours, everything in the 90s. And, you know, if anyone wants to do a hands up, type it in, you know, and whenever I go into a wardrobe, there are those shirts sitting there, and I actually get rid of them straight away. And I know that's pretty harsh, but I honestly think you need to contrast the structure. If you're going to put a shirt with the pant, it very rarely comes off as a stylish thing, mainly because it's very hard to find a shirt that that is well fitted and flatters a female body. It's just if you have found it, then you know, it's almost like you've got the holy grail, because mostly, you know, if it fits your boobs, it doesn't fit around your hips, or then it boxes you out, and you know, it's not the most flattering piece. There are ways around it, but it's just not the most flattering piece. And I actually say to the people when they've got this gorgeous shirt in their cupboard that they don't want to get rid of, I say wear it with jeans. So you've got that, you know, it comes a weekend wear instead of dressier weekend wear. Throw it with some jeans and a scarf, and you're contrasting the dress down of the jeans, dress up of the shirt, rather than have the two dress up tailored pieces together for work, which was, you know, the trend in the 90s, but it's definitely, we're moved on from that. And I think as women in the workforce, it's really great, even if you're not a very feminine person, to show a bit of feminine side. And I'm not talking frills and flounces if that's not your thing, because it's generally not my thing anyway, but I'm talking detail and interest, and maybe it's in the fabric that's a bit softer, because when you can create an outfit that has that contrast of soft and a bit tougher, then you're creating an outfit that's got interest. But I think kind of in a work kind of situation where you're trying to make connections with people, maybe you're trying to seal a deal, you know, if someone's kind of seeing a bit of you as well as the corporate you, I just think that's actually an advantage to women, that we can kind of do that. And I'm not talking in a flirty kind of way, and just in an interesting kind of way. And so that's why I suggest, if you're going to do the two-piece, that make the top more feminine and don't block it with the same colour pants and jacket. I'm definitely a huge fan of the jacket, and where in that corporate sense that it comes into play, I'll talk about where it comes into play from that work of home sense in a minute. Where in the corporate sense it comes to play, it can take a dress that can be, you wouldn't necessarily put as something that you would wear to a corporate office, and it can take it into to something that is quite acceptable. And I find that works really well. There's a lot of offices that have brought down how strict they dress, but people are still wanting to dress to a certain level. So when you've got that that jacket that you could throw on to go out to the meeting over a dress that you wouldn't necessarily have worn 10 years ago as a corporate attire, suddenly you're dressed and appropriate to the situation. And then my point number 4 is a bit about that, again, that personality thing. If you can add that one accessory to your outfit, this applies to anything. So it's the focal point. So we've got the photo of me with my, the girls are kind of out there in this dress, so it's probably not quite corporate-y. I would have worn something underneath. I was just looking for some situations where I had photos of me with the jacket on. This is actually quite a strappy dress underneath, so obviously I wouldn't take that jacket off in a work situation, but as soon as you add the jacket on and like a feature necklace, you're kind of lifting it to the next level, and you can not only get away with a dress that you'd wear on the weekend with flats, you can kind of take it to the next level with the jacket. So yeah, so definitely add that accessory. And if you're in a networking situation, a corporate one, corporate or in any networking situation, I always like to have an accessory around my face, whether that's earrings or a necklace. If it's a drinking networking situation and I'm sitting on my one glass of champagne, you'll often see a cocktail ring on my finger, and that's there for a reason because I use my hands to talk all the time. So, yeah. Any questions about corporate?
Can I ask? Where you got the jacket, the dress, the necklace, and the shoes? We've had a comment about the shoes already.
Okay. The shoes are by an Australian label called Gorman, and I actually bought them through styletread.com.au or .com. There's a link from the front of my blog. They were on sale, of course. I don't even know if they're still there. But my husband hates them, which means I wear them a lot. He hates the coloured tassels, but I love the coloured tassels. And they're actually got like a clog kind of heel, so they've got a bit of height, but they're actually really comfortable to wear. So, yeah. The dress is from about 3 years ago. It's a Morrison, which is a Western Australian label that I don't buy a huge amount, but if I'm buying something, I'll tend to buy it. There's a boutique here in the Sunshine Coast that sells it, and I bought it from there, and they do stuff that seems to suit me and I like. And the jacket is from Suzanne, and I got that last summer when I quickly had to do a TV interview and needed something to polish the outfit that I had on. So I grabbed that jacket, and I'm really glad I did, and I would like more coloured jackets in my wardrobe.
Great. I think we had a few people, as we move to the next slide, we had a few people mention that they, worked in offices, work at home, but I think that that outfit that you had on there would work for so many different situations, for the office, whether it's a marketing office, a finance office, networking. It'd take you to the nighttime events afterwards as well.
Yeah, so for me that was that outfit featured on my blog. I was going out to lunch with girlfriends, but I think I had a meeting beforehand, so I could kind of go from working at my computer to the meeting to lunch. And then as soon as I get home, I just take off the jacket and the heels, and you're comfortable again. So I'm big on comfort.
And Jane's just mentioned as well, sorry, Nikki, Jane's just mentioned as well that a tangerine style jacket, the Target Grazia range has a tangerine suit this season as well, which is very similar to the colour jacket and the style of jacket you had too.
Nice. Nice. That would go with my shoes, wouldn't it? Yeah.
There you go.
I like that.
Okay.
Okay, so work from home. So we've got some good work from home people.
We do, yes.
Okay. Increasingly, this is a lot of us, especially after you have kids, whether you're going to be starting a business or you're doing some freelance work, or you're doing that juggle between. And for me personally, I've found it. I'm working more hours, yes, than when I worked for someone, but the flexibility still far outweighs, and the rewards for doing it for myself. The flexibility around the kids far outweighs the switch off factor that you used to have working for someone else. So what I have done, and it's been a work in progress because, as I said, I went from straight office wear pretty much through to dressed up weekend wear, for want of a better word. So I needed to build a new capsule wardrobe, and for me the building blocks of this wardrobe have been good basics, but those basics have been in the easy care, easy wear fabrics like jersey, viscose, modal, that I know are always ironed and always ready. Well, they don't need ironing. They're always washed, ready to go. And if I've got those building blocks, then I can throw on a different top, I can throw on different shoes or accessories, and I am at the door as quick as I need to be in the morning, which can be kind of crazy. So my mornings at the moment, with daylight saving, with Queensland not being on daylight saving, and people I work with on daylight saving, I'm trying to do the school thing as well as check on anything I might need to check as far as my job goes as well. So it's a little bit crazy between 6 and 8 in this household. And I know it would be in a lot of households as well, but come daylight saving finishing in 2 weeks, I won't have to be so looking at the computer at the same time as making butter and toast. Yeah, so I need something that I can pull together quickly, and if I didn't have those basics, I'd be stuck. I'd be going, so, you know, what am I going to wear with this top? I've got 3 tops here, but, you know, nothing to wear with. So a big thing for me coming into this autumn weather are decent pairs of pants that work for me. I think that's why I've really loved the coloured jean trend, because you can kind of, yes, they're jeans, so you've got that comfort factor, but because you're adding colour, they're dressed up immediately with that. So I just think that's kind of been a little bit of a boon for work-at-home mums to be able to embrace. And, you know, increasingly I get feedback that a lot of people are buying the colour jeans, so I'm really stoked to see that. So as long as I've got my colour jeans and a black pair, this is specifically for this time of year, and I've got layering pieces, tops, and maybe cardies for at home. But that jacket that I talked about with the corporate and the previous slide, that definitely comes into play very much so as part of my wardrobe. I've got black, cream, that blush colour that you saw, and a nude colour, and I want to get another one this season as well. And yeah, I can be sitting at home in quite a basic top and pant, and I can put on a jacket and a scarf and a necklace and some nice shoes, whether they're flat or they've got heels, and you're immediately dressed up. That jacket just pulls it all together for you. So they've become a bit of my go-to wardrobe pieces. I don't sit here at the computer all day in them. Like, I'd just be in something comfy. Like, what do you call your cardi, Pen?
My my shacket. It's
shacket.
It's a half shawl, half jacket.
Sorry, did I just let out a state secret?
No, I blogged about it last year. That's okay. I'm eyeing it off. The cool weather's coming. I can't wait to get it back down from the top shelf. Shut up, Jane Frosh. Actually, we've got a question while I've got sorry, Nikki, while I've got the floor, just got a question in that a lot of the girls jumped up and as soon as you said coloured jeans, and Amy's just asked a question, interested in getting getting yellow jeans. What coloured tops would you suggest wearing with it, and what do you wear with coloured jeans? Do you go plain on top, or do you what would you suggest?
The more is Jane on this call?
She is, yeah, Jane.
Okay, so Jane, she'll just go to town and wear whatever. I think with colour, it's very much about your personality. So I really, if people don't feel comfortable wearing colour, I actually don't push them into it, because if you're pushed, the colour will wear you and you won't wear the colour. But if you're ready and you're wanting to experiment, a good way to kind of try is to take that vivid colour, like the yellow. Is it like a mustardy colour, maybe?
I don't know. Amy, is it a mustardy colour? Pop it in the question box. I think Jane got a different colour today as well. Amy said it's bright yellow.
Jane, bright yellow.
Yeah.
So I myself would be keen to maybe bring that back with some neutrals, like a white and nude colour, plus also maybe accent it with eggplant or purple, something like that, if you're wanting to kind of play around with some contrasting colours. I think that could possibly work. I do know on my, hang on, I'm just going to go to Pinterest. I'm not really going to be pinning anything, girls. I've got some inspiration. Can I post a link somewhere, Penny, or how does that work?
Yeah, no, that's fine. You just post it in the question box or the chat box on the bottom right-hand side.
So how about I find that? Because I've actually, on my board, I've actually got a coloured jeans board.
Okay.
So every time I see an image of jeans, so I'm going to put that link there if anyone wanted to have a look themselves. they could, I'll just put it in where the question is. No, type answer. Sorry.
You're right. We've also had a suggestion for.
There we go.
Go through.
Sorry.
There we go. Yep, it's down the chat box, so that should populate for everyone now. Pardon me.
So if you look at that, I mean, there's some bright colours that I've found there. There's a bright yellow mixed back with a hot pink, so you can really go as crazy as you want to with it. There's a really lovely pink jean with a mustardy kind of cardi, which is why I asked if they were more of a mustardy yellow, because I think that hot pink looks pretty spectacular with it. It really is what you think your personality can carry off. The colour jean definitely is a statement, so don't feel that you've got to do this huge colour blocking thing. You're still going to be making quite a good statement and a safe statement, for want of a better word, by sticking with the jean. There's one there, there's a green jean with a black and white striped top and a white jacket, so that's kind of a, I can see, you know, wearing that in a work situation, people are not going to go, oh my God, she's got green jeans on. It's going to be quite acceptable and fun to wear. And once again, that jacket kind of dresses it up again. When it's not, like, yes, we are going into autumn, and still something that I do at this time of year and going into the colder months is that I pretty well year round, if I'm not wearing pants, I'm wearing a dress. I don't do a lot of skirts. I find I have a very dress heavy wardrobe because it's one garment that you can put on, and I can get out the door in summer by throwing on one dress, some shoes and a statement necklace, hair pulled back and a bit of makeup on, and I'm good to go. I haven't had to think about putting that whole outfit together. Penny, I see you've had lime green jeans in the 80s. Should I have kept them? Well, you know what? Probably not, because the shape of jeans in the 80s was really not that flattering. Well, it wasn't for me.
I think my shape has also changed since the 80s.
Yeah.
That's safe to say.
Yeah. And the great thing is that there are some really inexpensive options around now that, you know, this is a fun trend that might be gone next season, but you can just have a bit of fun with it now. It was here last winter, but has been a bit of a slow burner. But even in the Northern Hemisphere, it's still around for spring. So, you know, you can buy confidently and know that we're all going to look silly together. In a couple of years' time, they'll go, what were those girls thinking? And with that work from home wardrobe tips, I just also had the, you do, most situations there will be times where you've got a meeting to go to, one of your events, Penny, or a nighttime networking function or a client meeting. It really is handy to have at least one go-to black frock that you can pull out to work at any networking event. And if you've got that kind of mini wardrobe of different coloured jackets that you've been building up, then you can change the look of it every time. So it's kind of like taking almost like a male approach to that sector of your dressing, that they can pull on the same pair of pants with a different shirt or tie, jacket, and look different. Well, you can do the same with a black dress, definitely. Some of the key, let me just, I think that's in the next slide, isn't it?
Do you want to go through to the slide with the dresses? Okay. Stand by. Just on that as well, you're saying about that key black dress. I just bought a black dress from Mix. It was on special for $15, a Coles brand.
Yeah.
And it's stretchy and it's got ruching, so it covers up my bits and bobs and things like that. And I put a heels and a scarf with it and wore it to one of our events last week, and it was just a really simple, comfortable dress to wear too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. These days you do not have to spend a lot of money. You have to get savvy about it though. I think I've included a link later into a post on how to choose when we talk about budgeting. But yes, so if you had a number of those kind of dresses in your wardrobe, you've always got something to wear. As long as you've got the shoes and the scarf, you're good to go. And I think when you're busy and your role is quite different throughout the week or the day, then they're the kind of things that would be great. Because, you know, something like that, Penny, you could take off the heels, put some flats on and be going to do the daycare pickup, no problems, and sort of even if you had to run, you'd be okay. So they're the kind of things that
I don't run.
You don't run? Okay.
No.
I shuffle apparently. So actually this is a good slide for us to like have a quick squiz at. This is actually from my blog, a post about a month ago. So some of these things might not be available in store anymore, but some of them would be, but it's just more to give you an idea about some of the key basics that you can have without actually having to stick to that what we would have termed a traditional corporate work wardrobe. And you can see I've been quite dress heavy with what I've included here. And yeah, Penny, there's a $25 dress. Number 2 is $25. So, and that shift style would suit a lot of body shapes. And you could put a jacket with that, and it could be quite acceptable in an office. So what I've got here is pretty well a feature of not all the stores that you might go to for workwear, but a good cross-section from designers like Leona Edmondson and Sasha Drake. They do great jersey pieces. Both of them do quite a lot of the wraparound. So we're talking about number 5 and 8. Mm-hmm. They do a lot of those easy care pieces that are made for women's shape and that you can throw on. And even though they're made with the jersey pieces, the shape of them is structured. So you can wear it by yourself or add a jacket to it, and you've got a really acceptable work outfit for an office. Also a great meeting or presenting outfit as well. So they're the kind of things, and even number 1, which is a Virtue, that's plus size, a really good plus size label actually that I have quite impressed with. They do from size 12 up to 24 or 6, I think. You know, you've got a dress style, but you've got structure and shape to it. So that's the kind of dress that is a really good work one, in my opinion.
We just had sorry, Nikki, we just had a comment from Catherine. She owns the Leona Edmondson dress number 5, and she whips it around and wears it backwards for a different look.
Yeah, yep. And Sasha Drake's, you can do that too. So especially if you've got a smaller bust, that is a really great way to get a different look out of your dress. And particularly in a work situation, that might be more appropriate to not have as much bust showing as well.
Nikki,
so,
we've just had another question about Virtue. Do you know where they're stocked, or do they go have an online store?
Yes, they're online, virtueshop.com.au. Do you want me to post the link?
That's okay. I'm just writing it up now based on what you've just said. That's fine.
Yeah, virtueshop.com.au. But they also have stores as well. So you'll see them. They're the same company as TS14 Plus, and sometimes those stores are grouped together in a shopping centre. I know they are at my local.
Great, thank you.
Yes, and yeah, increasingly there's options, and I've also got a maternity one there too. So that wrap style, or that giving shape under the bust, kind of universal for pretty well all shapes. It's just finding the design that works for you. In number 7, I've included that because it's got the type of, you know how I was saying, go softer on your top if you're going to do structured pant. That's kind of what I'm talking about. You've got an interesting colour. It's probably like a silky material. It wouldn't be silk, but it's a silky kind of material, and it just softens that suit look, and I think it makes that look a lot better. And I've included the Saba jacket in number 3 because jackets, as I said before, they've become really good workhorses for me in my wardrobe. And they are the thing that I think that you should spend more on. Now, not necessarily pay more, but do look out for the jackets that, we'll talk about it in the budgeting thing, but they're the things that you should look out for in sale time. A neutral colour like this and a black one would be my 2 essentials to start with. Does anyone have any questions about these particular outfits or the styles of outfits?
Yeah, we've got a question regarding the wrap dress. The question is, does a print wrap dress only last you a season/year? I always feel I'm wearing something really old when I pull them out year after year. Some pieces, like plain dresses or plain garments, I don't get this feeling. Is it just me being self-conscious is the question?
Yeah, I think women are our own worst enemies. I honestly don't think that guys would even notice, for starters, and I think it's all about what we think other women are going to think. And I have been a huge advocate since I started my business to bring that frock out to play again. You know, don't have it sitting there. Don't buy something that you're going to wear it once. You know, bring it out again. If it makes you feel good, then it should be being worn a lot. And that applies equally to workwear as it does to party wear. And there are ways to change it. So even with a pattern, I sound like a crack record over the jackets, you could put a lighter coloured jacket with it and suddenly it looks quite different to what you might wear in high summer. A different pair of shoes than what you would normally wear. You might wear it with a wedge instead of a heel or something like that. So I think it's a bit of a mindset, and honestly I'm guilty of it too, because there's nothing like that fresh new thing to give you a bit of a lift. But lately, and probably a big reason why I started the Keeping It Real posts, was just to highlight how much I actually do dip into what's already in my wardrobe, and it's still got a place in my wardrobe because I really enjoy wearing it. So I actually go out of my way to choose things to wear on a daily basis that aren't necessarily something new that I picked up on the weekend. I'd be lying to say that I don't enjoy picking up something new, but I also, you know, there's a reason why something gets space in my wardrobe real estate to start with. So if it's continuing to serve me well there, then it's going to get to come out and play or work.
Great. As we move to the next slide, Nikki, we just got one more question actually from Jane. What are options you would recommend for someone who likes a longer skirt? All those skirts that you just popped up previously are above the knee, but what are some options for someone who likes to wear the longer skirt?
Okay. Okay, Jane, you're special, okay? I haven't met you yet, but you could probably pull off any style.
She can.
The most flattering skirt length is either maxi or so full length, or it is to just at the top of the knee on pretty well all people. So when you go to those mid-calf lengths, a lot of people, it's not going to do the most flattering thing for you. And I think you have to be kind of a creative person or someone who's really great at putting those outfits together to pull it off. So I actually have stood in wardrobes and shown people the difference. If a few skirts that are sitting there, that if they got taken up, how much better their legs would look if they'd done that. Otherwise, we need to throw out this skirt. But Jane would pull together quite a creative outfit, and that's not something that everyone can kind of do. So I look at that. I look at what's most flattering. But generally, if you've got a skirt hitting a chunky calf, then you're going to look all chunked up yourself. So, yeah, that's pretty much where I work from. Sorry.
Okay. So if we go on to planning, we've got 15-minute call, Nikki.
Okay. All right. Planning. So this is planning on a daily basis, but also planning on as a whole. So big thing, if you haven't done it already, before the seasons are changing. If you haven't already gone through every aspect of your wardrobe and got rid of the things that you didn't even pull out to wear this summer, and you haven't hunted down to see what you already have in your wardrobe that's great for autumn and winter before you hit the shops, then that's a job for this weekend. You really shouldn't go shopping, and this is where we make a lot of our shopping mistakes, without really knowing what is in your wardrobe and where, that's the basis of what you're next going to buy. It's not about, it is obviously about budget constraints, but it's also about just not having anything in there that clutters up all the good bits. You want every piece in there to come out and have value to your wardrobe, to your outfit on any given day. If there's things in there that are a bit, don't really like these, it just feels not good when it's on, then it really shouldn't be in there, because it's actually stopping you from seeing all the good bits and making the most of the good bits. Also essential before you go shopping to have a clear idea of where the gaps are. And this only happens if you literally pull everything out and see what's missing. The classic example is people are trying to bring some life into their wardrobe, and they'll have 15 different tops because it's made them feel good about, picking up a new top on a Saturday, but the top never gets to come out because they haven't devoted time to finding the pants that make you feel good when you put them on, so that you can wear all those 15 tops and be confident with even just one pair of pants that you've got something to wear. So that's why, edit your wardrobe at least twice a year. And I've got a link there to a post I wrote on Just Be that gives you some ideas about how to do that. It's really about making an appointment with yourself, the same as if you were making an appointment with me to come around and go through your wardrobe. You make it with yourself and block the time out and do it. I also suggest the same with the shopping that you might do afterwards. And then we're talking, you might make a list from your wardrobe edit that you carry with you over 2 or 3 months as the season starts. If you're working off that list, it's amazing the things that you find are actually what you need. But if you're just willy-nilly going to your local shopping centre and hoping that your wardrobe saviors are going to leap out at you, they're not. And then down to the nitty-gritty of planning on a daily basis. So this applies particularly if you've got to get out the door, do drop-offs at daycare at school and go straight to a meeting. You don't want to be ferreting around in your wardrobe that morning trying to try on things and work out what you're going to wear. You want to walk out the door with some air of confidence, despite having to avoid peanut butter on your lapel or anything like that. You just want to have that together. And I've got a really wonderful tip from a reader that she's been doing, and I really like this, or you could photograph it on your iPhone, is that if you get an outfit together and you're feeling really good in it and it's really working, that you actually write it down in a notebook or take a photo of it. And before long, you've got a whole combination of wardrobe ideas that make it a no-brainer each morning to get up and get dressed.
That's a good idea.
Particularly, yeah, it's a really good idea. And with phones these days, you just take a photo of yourself in the mirror and you've kind of recorded it. And you don't have to then add that to something else that you've got to remember each day. Because, we get into those ruts and we just grab for the same clothes, whereas if we end up with 20 different ideas on our phone or in a notebook, then you're off on a really good tangent.
Yeah, I like that from a time organisation perspective as well, managing your time in the mornings. That's great.
So we'll get onto the budget.
Okay, just as we move over to that slide, we've got a question about leggings. Chris has just posted a question saying, are leggings in or out for casual? I think I've been living under a fashion rock.
Who's
Chris has asked, Chris Reynolds, who's online. Yeah, are leggings in or out?
I was wearing leggings through autumn, winter, and this is even in Queensland, they're my alternative to wearing jeans. And what I do is I wear tunic dresses with them. They're well and truly, what I put on top well and truly covers my bum and my front bum. And I wear them with things I would wear with tights. So but they are more comfortable than wearing a pair of tights, and I do buy more quality leggings. I don't, like the ones that I pulled out yesterday, I've had in my wardrobe for 3 years and they look as good as new and they're so comfortable to wear. But, you know, it works perfectly with a pair of ballet flats or some ankle boots or some knee-high boots, and it can look quite dressy, and it means that I can layer up a tunic dress with a long top underneath. So definitely I'm still wearing them, so if that gives you permission to do so, then do so. I will have a couple of posts in the next month or so. I'll have some Keeping It Real posts with a couple of tunic tops that I have got coming to me from a label called Verily, so I'll be able to show you a bit about what I'm talking about.
Great.
All right, so the B word, sorry. I've actually got better at this since my job has actually made me a professional shopper. So I think that just means that because I'm more informed about what's going on, I'm so keen to make better decisions and be a more conscious shopper, that I've actually got better than just getting that quick fix that I hope will work and generally never used to. So I do listen to what I tell everybody else to do sometimes. Now, I'll just run through these because this is a really big one. Subscribing to the list of your favourite stores and the designers so that you're always even know. Even the catalogues of Target, Kmart, Big W, subscribe to those. These things you actually want to come in your inbox, and like Leona Edmondson, she texts, though not her personally, clearly, someone in her office texts when they have these massive sales on, and I'm not talking 5 or 10%, you know, it can be 30 to 50%. And last week, what was it, Oraton? I sent my husband of the year material. They had a members only 50% off. So I sent him in for an umbrella to replace the one I'd lost 2 days beforehand. But another girl was in there buying the same iPad bag that I bought last month for half the price. People were buying handbags, as you would, because you're going, I've had my eye on the handbag for so long. 50% off, it's a no-brainer. But you know, it pays to get those emails that might seem like junk, but you can just delete them quickly if it's not appealing to you or doesn't, you know, it doesn't account with anything that you might be buying right now. The same with the store loyalty cards. I definitely have, I don't have a whole wallet full, but I have store loyalty cards for the stores where I shop most, because you do end up with really amazing offers. Not all the time, but when they're there, they're there. So Penny, you've got a question. My husband has somehow ended up on a country road customer holidays that gets 50. Yeah, that would be the spend and save.
Yeah. Yes, that's it. You spend 100, you get $50 off. It's amazing. Really good bargains.
And if you're worried about that extra card in your wallet, most stores, it's all on the computer now, and you can just go in and say, this is who I am, and it goes on to that account. So I think, yes, obviously the stores use them as a marketing tool, but you're silly not to, for the ones that you shop most at, to have those there for you. So I mentioned this before, in sale time, look for those classic work pieces that you're going to get, you know, a really good saving on something that's going to be in your wardrobe for quite some time. So you might get a $300 jacket for $150 or something like that. That is definitely a worthwhile purchase in sale time. And as you know, sales time are no longer twice a year, which is why those email alerts are quite essential. The discount department stores, we've talked about those too, and particularly this, well, for anybody, but if you're returning to work and you haven't received that first paycheck, then it's really hard to get your work gear together and look presentable. But the stores that I've mentioned there, you can go in and pick and choose and create a really good capsule wardrobe by just feeling the clothes and getting a really good idea about the quality through that. Just not everything you see on those racks is going to be the quality that you're looking for, but if you take your time, make the time, then you can sift through the racks. It's not going to be as merchandised as well as you would find in a boutique or a chain store, so you do have to put a bit more work in.
Mm.
And yeah, that budget tip again, keep your wardrobe well edited. It really isn't about the size of the wardrobe, it's about the quality that's in there, and by quality I mean every piece works for you. So, and I've got a link there to a post that goes into a bit more detail on those.
And what I'll do is to the girls that have registered, I'll send the PowerPoint onto them so that they can have a look at those links as well and be able to click directly through to them. Awesome. Okay, 5-minute call, Nikki.
Okay, so this was related to the budget call. So disclosure, yes, I have been doing work for Big W, which is why I have this photo and it's copyrighted to me. So that's why you're getting it. And I've done this because I'm talking accessories here. These are all from Big W, which is the Emerson range that I've been doing work for. And even your accessories, and you can get at Target, Kmart, Coles, Mix Apparel do good accessories too. You can get all these in store, and that is particularly helpful if you're going back to work or you're just not wanting to spend a bit of money on too much money on necklaces or scarves. So in this first outfit I've circled, she's got 3 necklaces on. So you know, you wouldn't do that if the necklaces were $80 each, but if they're $15 each, then you might. The shoes, those little ballet flats in the middle, they're under $10. So you can kind of do these little add-ons that you mightn't necessarily do if they weren't available there at a cheap budget. So we can go on to the next slide, Penny.
Stand by.
So I do have a couple of links there for more accessorizing tips because, and I've hinted it in the different sections, it really is the key to taking quite a basic outfit or something you've worn before that you're wanting to look different and feel different when you wear it. And coming into this time of year, I'm particularly a big fan of the scarf because you can really have quite a plain t-shirt and pair of pants on and add a gorgeous silk scarf to the equation, and it's quite dressy for me to go and have a weekend coffee meeting in it. So those couple of links will give you a bit more of an idea of how to start, because this is one of the big questions I get asked a lot from people is I just don't know how to start accessorizing. This is my one tip that I give everybody that I start working with. What's the one thing, just one, that you can add to this outfit before you step out the door? So if you think about that one thing, the rest will flow. Like as you get confident of remembering to put that one thing and the difference that it makes putting that one thing on, then you will feel confident to add in a second thing or a third thing. But that one thing will lift your outfit to the next level. It will start a conversation. Women are great like that. Well, the first thing we're going to notice if we looked at that girl there with the scarf on, we would notice her scarf straight away. We would make comment on it. It's what we do. And as soon as you do that, I purposely do it for lots of other people, it just makes that person feel really good. And really, we want to feel really good every day, whatever our role is, what we're doing in our day. So if clothes can kind of help put that on for us, then you're halfway there to tackling whatever that day is going to dish up for you.
Great. Okay. Well, we've just had a few comments come in. Just as you were talking, Nikki, we had lots of comments. We had a bunch of very interactive girls. Thank you so much. But a lot of people talking about the Emerson range and the quality of it, liking brands' Facebook pages too for finding out specials is a good way to keep up to date with it. And eBay is a great way to get workwear bargains, especially if you're buying from the US or the UK, as they are in opposite seasons. That's a good idea. I've bought a new Saba dress for my boss on eBay for $40 today. That's a bargain.
That's awesome. And even sites like ASOS, even though they're shipping now from Australia, you're still going to get really good bargains on the opposite season clothes. Like I got some boots the other day for leather boots for $60. That
Wow.
was a combination of opposite season plus the email coming through saying
Yeah.
just today these prices, and I looked at the boots and I've gone, they're so similar to the $200 ones at Country Road that I nearly bought a month ago, and I just clicked. It was a no-brainer for me. So it is that, and you don't have to subscribe to everything. It's about finding those stores that speak to your personal style,
Mm.
and every so often, yes, you are going to branch out, but if you're kind of getting the notifications on the ones that the sizing works for you, you're pretty confident on the quality, then it's going to save a lot of your legwork.
Yep.
We don't have a lot of time to find things, so yeah, do take advantage of that.
That's great. Nikki, thank you so much for your time tonight. That was actually some really good, useful tips and tools that we can actually all take out and go shopping tomorrow and have a really good excuse to go shopping. So everyone, if you aren't aware of Nikki's website, she lives at www.stylingyou.com.au, and you can also find her at justbe.com.au as well, where she regularly blogs about fashion and lifestyle too. So thank you very much, Nikki. I appreciate your time. And I also just wanted to say a big... Oh, thank you. I also wanted to say a big thank you to our sponsor, Willowbell, who do couture portraits. They did my headshots, corporate headshots, a couple of weeks ago and did a fantastic job. And if anybody's interested in sponsoring webinars, just drop me a message through the website. And I'd like to introduce our April webinar. It's all about home style, and it'll be presented by Jane Frosch, who was quite active tonight on the that's she's just put in there, that's me.
She's hot.
She is hot. Isn't she beautiful?
Oh,
So that'll be on Tuesday the 10th of April, and I'll put the link up in the next couple of days and you can sign up to that, and we'd love to see you there. And just before you go, as you log out, you'll see a survey which will just ask you about the content tonight, some technical questions, and if you could probably take you 2.5 minutes to fill that out, if not less. So if you could do that, that'd be great. Give us some really good feedback for future webinars. And thank you so much, everyone, for giving up your very, very precious time on a Tuesday night. I appreciate it. Thank you, Nikki. I'll speak to you soon. See you later, everyone.
bye.
Bye.